Good Erev Shabbos, Beit family. Anticipating this Shabbat, Parashat Kedoshim, which takes place situated right in between the days that we devote to the memory of Kedoshim. We just observed Yom HaShoah, thinking about the ultimate sacrifice of those who were murdered just by virtue of being Jews, remembering their lives and their stories and their legacy. And in a couple of days, we will commemorate, in anticipating Yom HaAtzmaut, Yom HaZikaron, the day of remembrance for fallen Israeli soldiers and victims of terror. There are so many more names added to those lists this year since October 7th. They too are Kedoshim, people whose deaths attested to their lives, living in connection with making the ultimate sacrifice for Medinat Yisrael and Am Yisrael, willing or unwilling, because of their deep bond to our people. And in between those 2 days commemorating those that we call Kedoshim, we read Parashat Kedoshim, a parasha which is suffused with mitzvot of all kinds, whose goal is to create Kedoshim and Kedusha in life. Sanctity, depth of integrity, holiness, and uniqueness in our relationship with each other, with our people, with humanity, and with God, in all the ways that we affirm life. And in so many ways, I feel what we're meant to do on Yom HaShoah and on Yom HaZikaron is simply first honor, remember, name, and hold close the memories of all those who perished, who were killed, who gave their lives, whose lives were taken, to engage in the act of Zikaron, to acknowledge their ultimate sacrifice as Kedoshim, and then in some way to try to draw lessons from their lives to enable us to live the best lives we can. And that's the message of Parashat Kedoshim, to try to live the best lives we can in every dimension and on every plane. The Mea Shiloach, the Ishbitzer Rebbe, comments on one of the psukim in our parasha that says, V'hit kadishtem v'item kedoshim. Sanctify yourselves and you will be holy. Ki kadosh ani Hashem Elokechem, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. The simple understanding somehow is that if indeed you engage in those acts of sanctification, fulfilling all the mitzvot that our parasha talks about, ritual, ethical, social, then you will become holy. The Ishbitzer says, actually it's a little bit different. V'hit kadishtem, sanctify yourselves through the mitzvot that are detailed in our parasha. And even then, there's still another layer missing, of v'item kedoshim. There's another yearning, another aspiration to achieving holiness, which transcends that which we can achieve simply through the mitzvot. He says actually that God promises us that if we fulfill the mitzvot wholeheartedly, and somehow I understand him to be saying, and we engage in a longing, an aspiration for Kedusha, God will grant us that Kedusha. And so somehow this week, we try to do the impossible of holding every individual memory close. This Shabbat will be welcoming and celebrating our survivors at Kiddush. For those who are in shul, find them, connect to them a little bit more, learn from them. I hope everyone will join us at SAR High School on Sunday night for Yom HaZikaron as we delve into the stories and legacies of civilians and soldiers who fell on October 7th and since. They are Kedoshim, and we want to glean from their lives lessons to help us in life be more filled with Kedusha and engage in a life of Torah and mitzvot and of longing for Kedusha, and take hopefully, optimistically, the teaching of the Mea Shiloach that if we do that, v'item kedoshim, with God's help, will be granted greater levels of Kedusha. Ken Yehi Ratzon, look forward to being with you over these coming essential days, and then from there to transition to Yom HaAtzmaut, even in this most difficult of years, to celebrate the miracle of Medinat Yisrael, of our return to Eretz Yisrael, striving always to make it the even better version of Eretz Yisrael and Medinat Yisrael that it can be. Shabbat Shalom.